Hello and good morning, my creative friends. Great to be here with you all. I'm huffing and puffing because I left my cup of tea upstairs. So I dashed up and down the stairs to grab my cup of tea. Catching my breath this morning. Happy Monday morning, my friends. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan. This is Painting in Your PJs Live with Minette. I'm delighted to be here with all of you in my pajamas, my Christmas pajamas, because it's pretty chilly here this morning. And I am loving these Make Monday mornings sacred, realizing I need even more of this in my life personally, not just my Mondays, but every day as well. Good morning, Cindy. And the idea behind Make Mondays sacred is giving ourselves a moment of pause, a place to catch our breath, to rest, to connect to self and what we need before, good morning, Mary, before we dive into the busyness and fullness of the week ahead. And as I was thinking about it this morning and thinking about this practice, I call it my mapping practice, my morning art activation practice. And this can be done, good morning, good evening, Jackie. And this can be done certainly at any time of day. But when I think about rituals and routines and finding the thing that really serves us on a day-to-day basis, the key to all of this, I think, is simplicity. Like just slowing ourselves down, not having to complete a project or start a project, or not having to make this a huge involved ritual, but simply to give ourselves the gift of a pause. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera over, and if you're brand new, welcome. So we're going to do a little coloring. I have pulled an oracle card. I'm going to light a candle. So when we talk about making our ritual simple, sometimes it is as simple as just lighting a candle that can remind us to slow down, to just gaze at that candle flame for a moment. Take a couple of deep breaths in and just bring ourselves fully into this present moment. Oftentimes our thoughts are pulling us in many directions, and maybe our heart is pulling us in yet a different direction. And as we sit down to practice a little bit of mindfulness, we find ourselves distracted, like by cats who are coming and saying they need to come pop into your lap and say hello in the morning. So again, inviting you just to slow down. Good morning, Yvonne. Just to slow down. And I drew a card again this week from this beautiful new deck that I got. And so I'm still playing with this deck and learning this deck. It's called the Sacred She Tarot by Ma Deva Padma. And interestingly, this morning, I drew the Dreamweaver, which is such a beautiful card. I love all the different characters and imagery. I love the colors on the card, so I'm going to let those colors inspire me in my coloring work this morning on my mandala, or as we call them, sacred circle design. But the Dreamweaver is also the sage, weaving tales of love and loss. And one of the things that really stood out for me this morning was that alone time is essential for weavers of dreams and is best spent communing with nature. The natural world is the inspiration and source of his overflowing creativity. When there is a need to refuel the spirit or heal the body, he finds sustenance near the water. He respects children, the bird song, the wind in the trees, the feel of a stone washed smooth by time and tides. And once he commits his heart to anything or anyone, it is lasting. Whether that's a passion for a philosophy, a cause, a beloved, the Dreamweaver is a champion of the underdog, works tirelessly to serve. And because he displays the strength and fragility of the heart, he can be taken for granted. Good morning, good morning. Because he displays, this is the guy who will give the shirt off his back to anyone in need. And he asks that you not overthink your intuition, that you express compassion toward others, and understand that changes in the natural world play a vital role in your own life. And with a twinkle in his eye, he whispers, "Save room for miracles." So the message from our Dreamweaver this morning is that time alone in nature is good for your spirit. To not overthink your intuition, to save room for miracles, and to follow your dreams, they know the way. And I love this message for myself and where I am in my life and the projects that I have going on. And, sometimes being a business owner can be challenging and frustrating, and sometimes it's smooth and easy. But I'm very committed to the dream that I'm following in the moment, and I wonder if you are too. And making sure there's always a blend of this beautiful self-care along with care and compassion for others. And I've only played with this deck a few times, and this the second time I've drawn this particular card. So I'm paying attention, right? Paying attention to the whispers, to the dreams, to the miracles. Hey, buddy. And I have an absolutely beautiful design that I am going to start working on this morning. This is a brand new one from my son, Connor, who does all the designs for our Sacred Circles monthly membership. And this one is particularly beautiful and inspired me. And I'm using this oracle card as my guide, and I'm just going to color with markers. Again, this idea of keeping it simple, a little pop of green from that frog there. Not quite the right green. I don't know, we're going to have to play with these and see, maybe a couple of different blues today. There's even one tiny little pop of red from our sweet little parrot in there. Being drawn to sort of bright springy colors today. Although it does not look like spring outside, it's cold and rainy and gray. And before I begin coloring, just again pausing, connecting to color, connecting to this beautiful design. The affirmation on this design today is I have confidence in myself. And I am a big believer in synchronicities, and it takes confidence and courage and faith to follow our dreams and to believe in miracles. So this just seems to be a beautiful reminder this morning that to trust, right? And to have faith. And I'm looking at this feeling like it really needs a pop of yellow in here as well. And as I begin this process of simply coming in and adding color to the page, noticing any stress and tension in my body, noticing that my shoulders are maybe kind of up around my ears this morning, and can I relax and settle? Also testing out a different paper this morning, seeing how do markers do on the paper as I'm focusing on my 100-day project and working on my fourth book, which is following a dream and believing that it's actually going to happen. Noticing how the markers react on the paper, and do I like the paper, and not so much. And how is everyone this morning? As you check in with your body, how are you feeling? You might be feeling sleepy, or wide awake, depending on what part of the country and the world and how much coffee you've had this morning. And what psychology tells us about coloring mandalas in particular, and why, well, my son and I started the Sacred Circles membership for a few different reasons, but one of them is because we have been enjoying creating, designing, and coloring them together for, he's 25, so for probably, I don't know, at least close to 20 years since he was itty bitty. We would sit on the couch, him and I and my daughter, and color together. And what we knew intuitively, psychology tells us that there's something about this mindful placing of color inside these areas. I'm not having to think about it. I'm not having to worry about the lines. All these colors are way too dark is what I'm noticing. But what I'm giving myself permission is just to be here with the page, just to slow the process down, be with my breath. And this particular design is pretty intricate. And so I have to focus. I have to slow down. This isn't, my other love is just, scribbling on a blank piece of paper, but not everyone loves a blank sheet of paper. They did a study at a university of several thousand students, and they gave some of the students blank pages to color and some of the students mandala designs to cover. And what they found was that the students that were given the mandalas to color, their brain study showed infinite more relaxation. And I think it's because we don't have to make a lot of decisions here. We don't have to worry about drawing the shapes and the designs. And the intricacy just invites me to lean in, to look close, to pay attention, to slow down. And holy moly, with this big chunky tip to let go of perfection that doesn't fit into all these little nooks and crannies. So I get to practice letting go this morning. We've talked a lot lately about letting go of attachment to outcomes and just being here in the process. Good morning, Carol. Welcome. I think we counted recently, and Connor has designed over 200 sacred circle designs for me, for my business, since he was in high school. And we started using them even when I was business coaching, and I would be teaching these live events, and I would always give people mandala designs to color, because as creatives, our brains would get really full with all the business details and numbers and planning. And even way back then, I would just invite people to just pause. Like if your brain got too full, just to slow down, catch your breath. And I invite you to consider this morning, what's the lesson in the Dreamweaver for you? Are you carrying too much? Are you holding on too tightly? Are you overthinking, not believing in your own dreams? Are you expressing compassion for yourself in your own journey? Are you making time for what I call deep rest, to slow down, to pause, to just be with your own thoughts and dreams, just like that lesson from the Dreamweaver? And I've been thinking a lot about dreams lately. I have some really amazing private clients I'm working with on big, dreamy projects. They both happen to be book projects at the moment, or lifetime dreams of, things that they want to start and get going and create. And they're fragile and tender, the dreams are, when they're new. And oftentimes we go into a lot of fear and doubt and that imposter syndrome of who am I? And so many people have done this. And is anybody going to want this? And is it unique enough and different enough? And we tend to just judge our dreams and lose faith in ourselves. Hey, buddy. Diego says good morning. I hear you, Mary. Tired and stuffy, and it would be so easy to just go back to sleep. Yeah. One of the things about the YouTube channel here that I love is it definitely it's commitment for me as well. So when I show up here in the mornings, I'm committing to myself and my own creative practice and my own constant improvement, continuous improvement, which is actually one of my values. And I'm really loving these colors. It kind of feels like an Italian pottery design, to lean into the brightness. And here on the edge of the mountains, spring comes late. And so my daffodils and tulips are just starting to pop their little heads up. And I'm grateful for every little bit of green. First little bits of grass that remind me that the seasons do change, that spring will come again. That nature is such a good reminder to believe in miracles. We see them every day. And for those of you that celebrate Easter, it's a beautiful message here in the season of Easter as well. So I grew up in a Catholic family, and Easter was always a big deal in our extended family. My mom and I dyed Easter eggs yesterday for the first time in, I don't know, decades, probably since the kids were little. And you'll notice as you begin to slow your thoughts down and to color or draw or just sit quietly and listen to the sound of my voice, that your body naturally relaxes, your thoughts slow down. And it might feel like your thoughts are starting to just roll and ramble a little bit, just like mine did down the Easter egg memories. And to just let them flow. So often when we think about meditation and mindfulness, we feel like we have to stop the thoughts from flowing, but instead just notice and let them go. Be mindful of what comes. Sometimes the inkling, the inspiration, the seeds of your dreams are right there in those rolling, rambling thoughts, and you get to capture them when you slow down long enough to listen, to get past the voice of the inner critic and just slow. That's awesome, Carol. I love that. I had a great conversation with one of my groups of students recently about intuition and what is intuition and learning to listen and trust. One of the messages from our Dreamweaver today was not overthink intuition. And in our intuition is where ideas originate. In the quiet is where we have the capacity to see new connections between things that we didn't see before. So taking time, any time of the day, for a short pause. No need to finish anything, but simply to be with yourself, to allow whatever feelings emerge, to not judge or avoid or push away your feelings, but just to notice, how am I? And just listen for the answer. And the more we learn to trust our intuition, the more we build confidence, the more we build integrity with ourselves, the more we lean into faith in our own dreams and our own abilities. We're always a work in progress, and that work can't progress if we don't make time for quiet. And as someone who has always struggled with sitting meditation, I've learned to use my art as meditation. Sometimes all I have is 10 minutes to just put a little bit of color down on a page, and it's enough for a pause, that mindful pause. I also love combining this practice with journaling, and often if I'm sitting coloring on my own, I'll either journal around the edges of the design or flip the page over and journal on the back of it. I might have thoughts or ideas emerge, or I might use the affirmation as a prompt. Do I have confidence in myself? Do I believe in my dreams? Am I following my dreams? My dreams, not what someone else says my dreams should be. And sometimes we notice that we may have a lot of confidence in one area of our lives and lack confidence then in another area of our life. There's a line missing there. Like we could be very confident in our career and work, but maybe not as confident in our creative abilities, or maybe we're very confident in communication skills, but not our math skills. And noticing how confidence isn't limited to I'm confident or not, but noticing where do I have confidence and how can I pull that confidence or lean on that confidence in one area of my life and bring it into another area of my life. And how can I feel compassion for the parts of me that aren't as confident as other parts? I think the other thing that is so amazing about coloring these sacred circle designs and why mandalas are so popular in general, there's something about the shape of the circle that is soothing to our brains. Historically, the mandala was used in traditional Hindu and Buddhist faiths. And the idea is that the mandala holds the whole and each of the individual parts. And I feel that within me as I'm slowly just coloring here this morning, watching the colors come together and the shapes take place. As I color each line and each space, I'm coloring in wholeness. And for me, the definition of integrity is wholeness. I'm whole within myself, in my beliefs, in my actions. And as I color, I'm expressing gratitude and admiration for Connor's beautiful design here. Expressing gratitude for the time and for the colors. And starting my day from that, again, that sense of wholeness, that sense of gratitude, that sense of compassion, and meeting myself right here exactly where I'm at. I don't need to be anyplace else. Nothing needs to change. The point of this morning art activation process is to be here now. And these beautiful bright bold colors are inviting me, like the spring, to wake up, to follow my dreams, to trust that they will bloom, they will bear fruit. Even when things feel a little painful or challenging, we can just hold on to that, remembering that spring will come again, but we have to go through the winter. So just allowing ourselves again to be with what is, whatever those feelings and emotions. Kind of feeling like those, I love these daisy looking flowers, and I want to maybe just leave them a little bit on the white side. And I'm going to pause here, keeping my commitment to myself that all I need is 30 minutes to feel a little more relaxed. Feel my shoulders settling. I let go of all of my to-dos and allowed myself to just be here now, to carry the energy of that dream weaver forward into our dreams, into our day, into our week of just following our dreams and remembering that miracles can happen. Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, right here, same place, Painting in Your PJs live with Minette. Bye, everybody.